The CEO of the largest health insurance company, United Healthcare, has been shot and killed in what looked like to be a targeted attack in New York City outside the Hilton Hotel. And the NYPD just recovered their bullets, and there was a cryptic message being sent to him. And there's kind of a lot to unpack here because I looked up the CEO, Brian Thompson, and he was actually and currently was involved in some pretty big scandals that aren't something to just brush off. So people are thinking that maybe the message or maybe the attack possibly had something to do with what he was involved in. So let's dive into it and see what's going on. So just to give you some context before we dive in, Brian Thompson, he was 50 years old, CEO of United Health Insurance Unit, and he was killed on Wednesday morning outside a Midtown Manhattan hotel in what police described to be as a targeted attack by a gunman lying in wait for him. So he was shot around 6:45 a.m. outside the Hilton on 6th Avenue, just before the company's annual investor conference. He was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police said the gunman was at large and they are still investigating a motive. This does not appear to be a random act of violence, the NYPD said, and every indication is that there was a premeditated, pre-planned targeted attack. The suspect was wearing a mask and carrying a gray backpack. He fled on foot before mounting on an electric bike and riding into Central Park. So they actually revealed what his face looks like with the mask pulled down. I don't think they identified him yet, but I'll keep you guys updated if they do. Now, his wife said that he was already getting threats. She said he had received some threats, though she did not know any of the specifics. This man was being threatened. Now, why would this man be receiving threats? Well, like I said, he was involved with some pretty serious scandals, and the first one we're going to talk about was insider trading. So this article says United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was one of several senior executives at the company under investigation by the Department of Justice. So he was currently being investigated by the time he passed away, and it had to do with exercising stock options and selling shares worth $15 million. Now, this happened on February 16th. This was about 2 weeks before some bad news came out. There was an antitrust federal probe that was about to go public. So to dumb it down, they knew some bad news about the company was coming out. So a bunch of them sold massive shares because they knew the stock price was going to go down. So they all sold it before the bad news, and that is not a good thing to do. This is the second allegation. United Healthcare was allegedly using a deeply flawed AI algorithm to override doctors' judgments and wrongfully deny critical health coverage to elderly patients. This resulted in patients being kicked out of rehabilitation programs and care facilities far too early. This forced them to drain their life savings to obtain needed care that should have been covered under their government-funded Medicare Advantage plan. So this is all according to a lawsuit that was filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Minnesota. The lawsuit is brought by the estates of two deceased people who were denied health coverage by United Health. So the suit also seeks class action status for similarly situated people, of which there have been tens of thousands across the country. If this is true, using AI for healthcare is probably one of the craziest things I've ever heard of, and I think that's where we gotta draw the line. I mean, it's trying to take people's jobs, it's trying to save them money. I mean, let's just go back to the old-fashioned way for some things, please. Third scandal. This company had a massive data breach. This article says that United Health Group said that hackers stole health and personal data of potentially a substantial portion of Americans from its systems in February as the largest U.S. health insurer scrambles to contain the damage. This company processes about 50% of U.S. medical claims. This is one of the worst hacks to hit American healthcare and cause a widespread disruption in payment to doctors and health facilities. So now that you know all this information, and if you go watch the footage of the attack, if you do watch the full clip, just be careful. It's very disturbing, so just be prepared for it. But if you watch the footage, it's clearly a planned or premeditated attack. I mean, the guy was just waiting out there. He was wearing a mask and a hoodie, and he knew exactly what door he was going to come out, and he just started firing, and then he left. So when the NYPD started to recover the bullets, each bullet had a different word on it. So it looks like he was being sent a cryptic message, either him or the world or the company in itself. And this is what the bullet said. It said deny, it said defend, and it said depose. Now people started wondering, what the heck could this possibly mean? Well, after some research, they were saying that the words of these bullets are very similar to the words on this book, which says delay, deny, defend. Now, this book is about how insurance companies deny valid claims for profit. With the sketchy scandals he's been involved with the cryptic messages on the bullets, with the threats his wife said that he's been getting, what was the message trying to be sent? Which scandal could it have been for? Or is this all just random nonsense? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it all connected?